Nevertheless, before we have the pleasure of listening to President Jokowi's presentation, I thought of sharing with you 3 observations as a prelude to put everybody on the same page. First observation, in the past few months, Indonesia has been going through a dramatic economic reform process. Frankly, in my view, the biggest policy reform in our history, a transformation on a scale which I have never seen before. Many rules and regulations have been simplified and deregulated. A good number of business sectors have been liberalized to foreign capital. Key infrastructure projects, which were stuck for many years, have begun to be implemented. As many of you would know, a few weeks after he was sworn in, President Jokowi made a politically unpopular decision of scrapping long overdue costly fuel subsidies. And since September last year, 12 economic stimulus and deregulation packages have been rolled out by his government to make the economy of Indonesia more open and more competitive and doing business in Indonesia easier. In fact, President Jokowi has been talking widely to think tanks, military, community, and political leaders in Indonesia on his perspective that in a globalized, highly interconnected world, it is in the national interest of Indonesia to open up its economy and to make it free from excessive regulations.
I'd also like to take this opportunity to extend my deepest respect and congratulations to His Excellency President Widodo for being selected as the winner of Asia Journalist Association's AZA Award 2016. His drive for economic reforms was justly recognized, and once again, I'd like to express my deepest respect for his reform efforts. Moreover, today, Koreans and Indonesians enjoy the K-wave and the K-lifestyle. They listen to the same K-pop by EXO and Super Junior, enjoy the same K-shows like Running Man, watch the same K-dramas starring Lee Min-ho and Kim Soo-hyun, eat the same K-food, and follow the same K-fashion. So, it's not too difficult to see that Korea and Indonesia are top trading partners for each other.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a daughter. She likes Shiny. I went with her to Shiny concert 2 years ago. This is my daughter, Annie, with Minho. My daughter said to me, "한국 배울 사랑합니다." As many of you know, I spent 27 years being a furniture exporter. You know, at one point, I took a Korean factory manager. Within 3 years, we increased my factory productivity more than 2 times. 2 times, very good. So, you have 2 fans of Korea in Jakarta, me and my daughter. I believe that in Indonesia we have reached a measure of economic stabilization. Our first quarter 2016 GDP numbers just came out at a weaker than expected 4.92%. Growth may go up a little or it may go down a little. However, I believe we have stabilized in the region of around 5% annual growth rates. Our goal will be gradually raise our growth rate from these levels. How did we achieve this economic stabilization? We have turned to some new growth engines to support our economic growth at this time. For example, infrastructure development. When taking office around 18 months ago, our government launched the largest infrastructure development program in the history of our country. You can check with your journalists in Indonesia. You can check with your ambassador in Jakarta. I believe most of them are surprised by how much infrastructure is getting built in Indonesia today. Our infrastructure program is very far-reaching. Some of our target for completion by 2019. 35 gigawatts of new electricity generation, 163 new seaport, 621 miles of new toll road, 2,024 miles of new rail, irrigation system for 1 million hectares of new farmland, 49 dams to irrigate those farmlands. What makes all this possible? Very simple, economic reform. Within 1 month of taking office, we cut wasteful fuel subsidies by 80% to free up $20 billion per year of fiscal space, which we are spending on infrastructure, healthcare, and education. In August of last year, I reshuffled my cabinet to bring in more technocrat and professional. In September, we launched a major deregulation campaign. Since then, we have issued 12 policy packages covering faster port clearance, improved custom facilities, lower energy costs for industry, opening our negative list of investments, and many other reforms. Ladies and gentlemen, I have put down our economic reform program to two fundamental principles: openness and competition. Technology has made the world borderless. Supply chains are becoming ever more global. Social media is making the world move faster and faster. For any country, the choice is only two: be open or be closed. In my mind, it is clear that for Indonesia, the right answer is we must be open. In fact, our country is already open, but over regulation in recent years has made the business environment too difficult for domestic business as well as for international businesses in Indonesia. That is why we are deregulating now. On competition, the history of our country shows that competition brings out the best in us. For sure, Indonesia will be in the group that is reforming. We want to reform, and we are reforming. Kamsahamnida. Thank you very much.